Captain.
You turned around, hands folded behind your back. Sergeant Sun?
Our troops are advancing as planned.
You smirked. I told you that my plans always work out, didn't I? The sergeant bowed before you. This skirmish had lasted for 30 minutes now. The mission was simple. You drop in with your squad in an alien-filled space station and take back control of the primary facilities. What you didn't expect was the sheer amount of green bastards firing their blasters at you and your units. At the moment you were still in your dropship, giving out commands to both your units in battle, but also the reinforcements you were ordering. Your PDA was connected to the facility's cameras. It allowed you to observe the alien menace and your own soldiers as they were battling it out. Your eyes narrowed. Something was wrong. Quickly you typed in commands into your PDA.
What's wrong?
They're actually pushing back. Angrily you grabbed one of your own blasters. That alien scum hasn't seen the last of me, you growled.
Captain, I have to remind you, if you die out there...
I won't.
Well, you better, because if you die, we lose and have to reset the game.
You blinked. Right. You almost forgot. You tended to have an overactive imagination. The pizza Plex was closed. Not because of fire, for once. And also not because of a police investigation, because a child was kidnapped or shoved into a suit. No, the pizza Plex was closed because today was maintenance day. It happened once a month. During this time, on-duty engineer Kevin, a lovely man in his 40s with a passion for machinery, the on-site mechanic, some lazy guy who spent most of the time in the employee lounge, seeing maintenance day as a free paycheck, and you, a day shift guard, all too eager to work specifically today. As the name implied, maintenance day was the day where every animatronic in the pizza Plex had a full routine checkup on both their endoskeletons and their shells. Cash-wise, for all employees chosen, it was just another day, but mentally, it wasn't. There were no screaming customers, no emergencies like a vomiting child. But also, most importantly, since there was no one around, you could play Fazer Blast for free, and without the fear of getting yelled at by your boss for wasting company time. So, after Freddy had finished his repairs, which luckily was just a simple adjustment to his eyes, and a new foot, you decided to spend some time with him. Thing was, he only really wanted to play Gator Golf. And when it came time for Fazer Blast, he retreated into one of his charging stations. But luckily, to your surprise, the daycare attendant had been there too. Apparently, someone left the door to the daycare open and he got curious. To prolong the game, you used a special power normal customers didn't have, and that was control over security bots. And a security tablet that let you see the cameras. However, it seemed as if the security bots weren't the tactile geniuses you expected them to be. After all, they weren't programmed to take cover, unlike the alien bots. It was fun though, and maybe you'd gotten a little too into it. You returned your attention to your, sergeant. You forgot one thing. Dramatically, you took hold of your Fazer Blast helmet and put it on. I'm a human. Your gun in your right, your security tablet in your left, you're about to march into Fazer Blast when an idea came to you. Inside the attraction's lobby, you took a right into the armory.
It's very intelligent to stock up on ammunition, Dayguard. However, it is against the rules to have more than one grenade. And more than 2 blasts. Why are you still taking more grenades?
All warfare is based on deception, you muttered as you marched through the battlefield. Turning to look behind yourself, you called out to Sun. Sun Tzu said that. A very intelligent Chinese guy.
This Dayguard, I feel like that was a little insensitive,
responded the animatronic with concern. Gun and PDA in hand, through a sheer streak of luck, you had reached the front line of your invasion. You were ducking behind cover, your security bots bravely firing into the mass of alien bots. Moral fading, reported one of the machines. Initiating. No. You're not going back, you shouted at the robot. Calculated chance of victory. Pew. The robot went limp for a moment before quietly returning to the respawn area of Fazer Blast. He had just shot it in the head. Keep in mind, maggots, deserters will get shot. Sun gave you a disapproving look.
That was our own man.
Are you going to stay like that? Seriously? Okay. You smiled and then used your tablet to turn off the lights inside of Fazer Blast. While it appeared counterproductive at the same time, this had a very intended effect on your little companion.
Why? What did I do?
He screamed, but it was too late. The robot began to convulse as his head spikes retreated into his head.
Why did you do that?
You watched as your sergeant fell on the ground, standing up mere seconds later. His clothes turned from a vibrant yellow into a cool blue. His eyes no longer white and yellow, but a deep crimson. Moon looked around.
Where am I? What's happening?
Without saying a word, you shoved a Fazer Blaster onto him, and you took it like a precious artifact.
Ooh, I like this,
he said as he pointed it at the wall.
This will certainly make me more intimidating. This will probably get nap time rules to be held up.
You're my sergeant, you interrupted the machine as he was mumbling.
What? Oh, I see. We are in the middle of a fight. Okay. Miss Security Guard?
He said that with way too much excitement in his voice.
Point and I shoot.
He bowed before you.
I will slay whatever will endanger you, my lady.
This is more future warfare, not medieval. He blinked.
Well, in that case, our space empire shall prosper.
Fighting with Moon was way different. He let you cheat. You used 2 blasters. And more grenades. Heck, he even cheated himself. Using the laser pointer he had hidden in his fingertips. Something you didn't even know he had. As a type of beam weapon. And trap. Gosh, it was amazing. In fact, he got 3 promotions on the battlefield alone. And yet, something was majorly off. He played with the narrative you gave him. But as you approached a large plastic construct, where the respawn location of the aliens was, together with the final flag, he stepped forward, the aliens not firing at him.
I feel like the time for words has finally arrived. My captain.
He turned around, and a huge group of alien staff bots appeared behind him as his hands were folded behind his back.
Moon, are you betraying me?
His face turned upside down.
Precisely.
He pointed his laser finger at you.
Surrender, Captain, or die.
Oh, Moon, 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 Moon. Don't you think I expected that? You said smugly.
What?
You ripped open your security uniform, losing 2 buttons in the process. Underneath, you wore Fazer Blast laser-proof vest. On it were 6 grenades duct-taped. This, Sun would have never allowed. An insane and wide smile appeared on your face as you stepped closer. Staff bots, stand down. Mama will handle this. You said at the top of your lungs, as you rushed forward into the group of alien machines and the traitor Moon. Pulling at the grenades. And then you wrapped your arms around the animatronic, your force and body weight causing the machine to get on the ground with you. The explosion sound effect of the laser grenades played, and even though you were in pain, after all you just had fallen onto a giant piece of metal machinery while having a fake suicide vest strapped around you, you were laughing. And so was Moon. You were laughing so hard you broke out into tears. As all aliens at the same time hung their shoulders and retreated to the respawn area. Your staff bots quickly moving in, taking the flag. Victory. And probably the greatest roleplay you ever had. It was an hour later. You were sitting with Moon inside of the Roxy Raceway security office. The reason was it was the darkest. Moon was happily sitting on the desk, humming.
I have never seen you so excited. And I've never been awake for this long.
That reminds me, you interjected. You haven't asked me about nap time once. The robot shook, his legs shaking.
Well?
He was searching for an excuse, and embarrassed, he scratched the back of his head.
That's because I enjoy your company a lot, Miss Dagard. And I don't want a sudden stop to happen, because you're taking a nap, even if it would be for me.
Aw, that's so sweet of you. He chuckled, tapping his fingers together.
Well, you are sweet too. Playing with me and all that. I never get to do that.
I'm most surprised you immediately agreed to it. Moon scoffed, turning his head upside down.
You woke me up in the middle of a war. What else was I supposed to do? Just lie down and die?
You smirked, leaning against the office chair you were sitting on. Arms crossed. Well, it was a fair point.
What else would you like to do with me tonight? I am very excited, as you can see.
A lot of things. You said out loud before thinking, which immediately set up the expectations.
Oh, what do you want to do?
I mean, I have a few ideas, but I'm not sure if you'd like them.
Don't make me all hyped up for nothing.
You quickly lunged forward, kissing the machine on the mouth. Wow. You didn't believe you were that straightforward.
Thing.
Luckily, he could talk while his lips were used by someone else.
gold.
You popped off of his mouth. What's wrong, Moony? Getting shy on me? Moon's hands turned to fists, tapping them on the desks before wrapping them around your hips. One hand reaching down to your butt, grabbing a fistful of your soft ass meat. You moaned at his forceful touch, your face quickly turning red and excited. As strange as he tasted, due to his face being all metal and plastic, it was exciting having him fill you up like that. And you wanted more. You actually wanted more. You pulled away a little to catch your breath, his palms now resting on your shoulders, eyes focused entirely on you.
Listen, Miss Guard, I have no idea why you're playing Fazer Blast. I have no idea why you woke me up. I don't even know why you kissed me. But I must tell you, I don't care. Because I was having fun. And what you just did, it felt amazing. I would love to have even more fun with you.
You were surprised as the robot now pushed against you. It was being so forceful. It made you gasp, and your heart beating faster. I don't mind having a little fun with you, Moony. But... With a shaking hand, you reach for your breast pocket. I just need a sip before we keep going. Quickly, you pulled out a small flask, opened it, and gulped down as much alcohol as you could within 10 seconds. You sighed as you closed it, throwing the half-empty flask behind yourself. You sighed as you closed it, throwing the empty flask behind yourself.
Was that alcohol?
I'm about to fuck an animatronic. I'm not going to do this sober.
Language.
Well, I am, you said, and the robot scoffed.
I mean, yeah. Yes, you are. Why are you still taking more grenades?
All warfare is based on deception, you muttered as you marched through the battlefield. Turning to look behind yourself, you called out to Sun. Sun Tzu said that. A very intelligent Chinese guy.
This day guard, I feel like that was a little insensitive,
responded the animatronic with concern. Gun and PDA in hand, for a sheer streak of luck, you had reached the front line of your invasion. You were ducking behind cover, your security bots bravely firing into the mass of alien bots. Moral fading, reported one of the machines. Initiating. No. You're not going back, you shouted at the robot. Calculated chance of victory. Pew. The robot went limp for a moment before quietly returning to the respawn area of Fazer Blast. He had just shot it in the head.
Keep in mind, maggots, deserters will get shot.
Sun gave you a disapproving look.
That was our own man.
Sun looked at you disapprovingly, but you were way into it to notice. Morality restored, said one of the robots affirmingly. However, despite your valiant efforts, you quickly realized that There were way too many alien bots for your slowly returning security bots to handle. It was effectively a stalemate. And you weren't about to lose it with some reckless move. You reached into your pocket. You had taken one of the Fazer Blast grenades from the armory. The way the grenades worked was that after being thrown, they let out a signal to surrounding players and bots, indicating damage while also playing an ambient explosion noise. However, just one wouldn't cut it. But for now it would allow you to get rid of a few of their blasters. So you could actually see what you needed to do. "Fire in the hole!" you shouted as the plastic ball flew over the aliens. Seconds later you watched as a handful of green-colored bots left for their nearby respawn. Peeking over your cover, you were able to figure out your attack plan. "Son!" you shouted. He was standing a few feet behind you, as he wasn't allowed to intervene. He looked at you. "Come over here." You pointed at a place near you. He shrugged and followed your order. You grinned. Now it was time for the real test. As Sun positioned himself, you crawled over to him. The alien lasers firing behind reflected off of his shell.
Dagard, that's cheating. You're not allowed to use me as a shield,
complained the robot. "Shush, I bumped my toe. Do you still have that first aid kit I gave you earlier? After we left the armory?"
"Oh, yeah, okay, here."
Sun reached for his belt. Almost too eagerly, you grabbed it. This was going to be fun. Earlier in the armory, you had emptied the first aid bag and filled it with grenades. And you were about to go ham.
Dagard, are those... Dagard, I'm very disappointed in you.
You, meanwhile, grinned widely. Pressing the grenades against your chest, you stepped forward and rushed into the alien position, throwing grenades everywhere you could while laughing maniacally. Chaos erupted as many robots bumped into each other to reach the respawn. Yet still you kept on throwing the plastic balls. And once you ran out, you pulled out your blaster, rushing into the alien bunker, single-handedly taking the flag. Total victory. Remember, son, all warfare is based.
I think you misremembered that quote, Miss Dagard.
A wide grin was plastered on your face, and the robot sighed, gently patting you on the back.
I admit, I was upset at you for cheating earlier, but seeing you all happy like this, oh, that makes it worth it.
With a cheapish grin, you pushed against the animatronic. Aw, come on, son. I had so much fun. That's all that matters, right?
I have to remind you, if there had been customers involved, they would not see it that way. What do you want to do now?
Milkshake. I want a milkshake. Half an hour later, you sat down in the Roxy Raceway Diner with Sun. Due to him being a large, heavy animatronic, he had pulled over a side table and used it as a makeshift stool. His feet were dangling from it.
So, Miss Dagard, I was wondering,
he asked before you could order. For a Fastplay employee, you were free to order whatever food you liked. You even got a 5% discount on it. While not the best discount, it was still a discount. And the employee loyalty program even rewarded returning your salary to the company over time through free novelty items. But Of course, that was just a ploy so employees would give more of their hard-earned money back to their bosses. What is it? You asked.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but it seems that whenever we play games together, you fall into this rhythm of imagination.
You tilted your head. What do you mean?
I watched you play mini golf. I'm sorry I was stalking on you. It just looked fun and boring at the same time. And well, according to you, what was meant to be a friendly game of Fazer Blast between security staff bots and alien staff bots, it turned into something I can only describe as war. And during mini golf, you were very competitive, just like it was war. I think that's why Freddy didn't want to go to Fazer Blast with you. If you keep this series up for every game available in the Pizza Plex, I'm afraid you genuinely overexhaust yourself. I mean, imagine you participate in a macer-sized activity. You would genuinely hurt yourself. But you also look so happy, and I feel like I'm overstepping my boundaries.
You blinked, feeling embarrassed, as the machine got serious.
It's just, you so rarely smile. I feel horrible, like I'm taking away something you love by bringing this up.
You forced a smile. Well, you certainly were surprised. And after a moment of silence, you puffed up your cheeks, finally figuring out the best way to talk about it. I had ambitions before I worked here. I wanted to become an artist. My entire life I had these grand things in my head, but never worked out. I spent many hours with my grandma, who herself was a talented oil painter, just drawing pictures. And then in middle school I joined the art club. They had clay furnaces. It was actually pretty cool making little sculptures. It's just, you know. Son had an idea. And he made a choice that he couldn't have foreseen the consequences of. For your sake, to not make you feel bad, he'd continue the roleplay.
Now that we have won, Captain, we should celebrate!
You smiled softly, appreciating his attempt at cheering you up.
What would you like to do now?
You chuckled. Well, there are a few ideas I have. Leaning forward, you mused. Now, how do you think we should celebrate? I don't like where this is going. But you already pulled out your security tablet, and moments later...
Wait, Miss Dagard, why did you shut down my safety programs? I don't want to hurt you.
I'll tell you after I'm done with my shake, Sergeant.
Oh, boy.
Your seductive tone didn't go over his head. You ordered your milkshake, and it soon arrived. And you didn't hesitate long before you pulled out an alcohol flask that you had been hiding in your breast pocket. The robot's fingers twitched with anxiety.
Miss Dagard, you're not allowed to drink on the job.
We won the war, didn't we? Now we celebrate. The robot blinked. Both of you knew you were going too far, but you had reached a point where that didn't matter anymore. You'd be fired either way if this ever got out. And so you allowed it.
Oh, well, yeah. Let's celebrate!
Drink with me. Whispering, you added, Just imagine I pushed the same drink over to you, accompanied with a little wink. As you began downing your milkshake, Sun pretended he was too, humming and making the noise of gulping down liquid that he absolutely enjoyed. You slammed the soon empty glass down. Your left eye twitched slightly at the brain freeze and the alcohol, a single tear running down your cheek from the pain. Sun, meanwhile, was tilting his head.
I don't know how alcohol feels like.
You blushed a little, pulling out your tablet again. It kinda feels like... when I'm doing this? You mused as you turned up his emotions. This was normally used to calm him down when he was about to throw a fit, but having the option to crank it up always was a delight to watch.
Ooh! Ooh! Ooh!
Yeah, you feel it, Sergeant.
I feel it! I'm really feeling it! What next, Captain?
Bravely, you crawled on top of the table and whispered next to his face. Next, you come with me into the captain's quarters.
And do what?
You didn't reply. You just took the animatronic's hand and guided him into a nearby security office. It was special as it didn't have any security cameras, ironically. Inside, you pushed the robot against the wall.
Miss Agard, I have a feeling that whatever we're doing, I would not allow if my safeties were on.
That's the point. Sunny. You hushed seductively as you pressed your lips onto his. It was unlike anything you ever did before. Both the stupidest idea ever, and at the same time, you didn't care either way. It was great, even if his lips tasted like painted plastic. You felt so naughty, because you were doing the one thing that was definitely in your contract you should not do.
Mistake, Art,
He moaned. The fact his reaction was programmed into him was a great sign, and it made you drool a little. So, how far can we go from here? You asked after popping off of his face, his eyes narrowing lustfully.
Miss Dagard, I'm programmed with a variety of massages. You just need to tell me where to rub.
You blushed hard in response. He knew exactly what you were thinking, and you liked that he knew what you were thinking. Let's fuck like there's no tomorrow, my dear Sergeant.
Oh,
Thank
language,
you to
Captain.
the people who are supporting
Language.
your Ko-fi. You guys are keeping me alive.
Special thank you to my lovely darling channel members, Aruna, Chloe Rockenbow, Cherry Red Bunny, D's Nuts, Nicodemus D, Cat Cove, Kaya Abyss, Bit, Zings X-Ray, Melofia, Lavender Cheese, Muffin, A Simp, Hella, Nexorist, AJ Anime Girl, and Hopeful.